Hi there, everyone. It is Meteorologist Carly Smith. We are live, we are rocking and rolling, and we are cold outside. We are going to break down this winter precip in this live update. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, everyone. The current time is 12:25 p.m. on this Monday. We're already starting to see some drizzle move in, some reports of freezing rain, some reports of snow at some of the METAR sites across the area. So yeah, let us know if you have any reports. Please report it. Please send us between now and all the way through Wednesday any report you have, whether that's nothing at all, that is a report, and we appreciate it. So you can do that by following my Facebook page, that's Carly Smith WX, or KIII TV as well. 3 News Facebook page, as well as on YouTube, and of course keep up to date with the latest on KIIITV.com. But yeah, let's get started. Let's talk about it. Right now, here's a look at our current radar imagery. So a little bit of a freezing line trying to show up there between George West, Beeville. If anyone's watching from those locations, let us know if you're seeing drizzle or if there is any ice accumulating or kind of tiny sleet pellets maybe mixing in. That's what's showing up on radar. We have seen temperatures go up in the Duval County region. There were some reports out of Hebbronville of freezing rain and even a little bit of snow earlier today, but Hebbronville's temperature and Freer's temperature are still at 31 degrees. So that means that freezing rain is possible with this drizzle. If your temperature, if your car is reading, now car thermometers are not the most accurate, but if it says it is below 32 degrees, you should definitely drive with caution in these conditions because the water likely could freeze, especially on bridges and overpasses. And so very hazardous conditions are anticipated as we head into Tuesday morning, mostly on those elevated surfaces like bridges and overpasses. We're going to get into all the details here coming up. We've got a report. Thank you, Letitia. Drizzle in Beeville. Just drizzle, no freezing, no ice accumulating yet. Let us know. Anyway, thank you so much. Weather impact alert. What is that for? Well, we have the freeze warning. Again, overnight into Tuesday morning. We have a winter storm warning for Tuesday from midnight all the way through 6 p.m. on Tuesday. We also have extreme wind chills that are anticipated tonight. That is because our wind is another issue that we really haven't focused on because of the chance of winter precipitation, but wind is going to be a big impact on the potential for some power outages because we're talking 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts possible. Let me make sure I have that graphic here. Yes, I do. So 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts are going to be possible. If we see power outages, it will likely be more so because of the wind than our freezing drizzle. So on top of that, any frozen things are going to be north-facing sides. So try not to park your car on where the windshield is facing the north. Try to face the south or have a building just to your north. That will limit how much ice accumulates on your windshield that you might need to scrape into tomorrow morning. So first we'll start with the freeze warning. That is from midnight all the way through Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday is going to be cold all day, y'all, all day. We're likely staying in the 30s. We're talking a high around 37, 38 degrees. So we have some more reports. We've got drizzle in Orange Grove, ice. Leroy says ice in Hebbronville. That should be transitioning. So as this moisture is coming up, it's bringing warmer and humid air with it. But those counties to the north, Live Oak and B County, you will be the coldest. Your temperatures are expected to stay in the mid-30s, which means some sleet, not out of the question this afternoon, but we should at least eliminate freezing rain once that temperature gets back up above freezing, which the airport out near Beeville, the Beeville airport, temperatures are above freezing there. So some of the valleys and more shallow locations in that county, so I say shallow, I mean like the air is able to flow down and cool as it does so, then you may be able to see some freezing or icy conditions that direction. But we have a report of drizzle in Alice, ice on the truck in Rivera already. those temperatures are now warmer, so that should be limited between now and then once we cooled off again back into the 30s. But yeah, definitely seeing some pockets of freezing rain already happening. We'll get a break in that, and then it picks up again around midnight for most locations. Corpus Christi specifically, I think it ramps up around 2 a.m. and will continue through the morning. There is a chance for some snow and sleet to mix in. I have a great article posted on KIITV.com that explains why that is possible. But anyway, let's try to get to the more important things first. So winter storm warning is from 6 p.m. this evening through 6 p.m. Tuesday. I believe National Weather Service out of Brownsville started it earlier for Jim Hogg. Yeah, well, I clicked the wrong update. Jim Hogg, yeah, is in effect now through noon on Tuesday. Same for Brooks. Kennedy. Oh, hold on. Let's clear this out and make sure I'm telling you the right information. So Kennedy doesn't start until 3 a.m. Brooks County already in effect, Jim Hogg County already in effect. So those locations, your winter storm warning is already in effect because there have been some reports of freezing rain like in Rivera, so that would be southern Claiborne County. I don't think National Weather Service in Corpus has already initiated any of ours. No, ours is technically 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. So Monday this evening through Tuesday evening is when the winter storm warning is in place. Now this winter storm warning is for mixed precipitation. Snow, sleet, could be a dusting to at least a little bit of accumulation. No accumulation is expected to be over an inch. 1/10 of an inch of ice is anticipated, and a big problem is going to be the wind gusting up to 40 miles per hour. This is for the entire region. The winds pick up later on tonight. The main issue, the main impact for your weather impact update will be roads, especially bridges and overpasses. Those are going to become slick and hazardous first because they don't have the heat from the ground helping keep those surface temperatures a little warmer and melting any precipitation that falls and freezes on contact. So the bridges have the cool air underneath them, so the temperature of the concrete is going to be cooler as well, and so they freeze easier. Here's a look at Futurecast. So we're already starting to see the rain move in, lots of drizzle. So drizzle doesn't show up that great on radar products, but it is there. Drizzle is going to continue off and on, well, pretty much on, between now and tomorrow morning. Now we do get some pockets of heavier precipitation moving in. That's as that coastal low is getting even more north. And as that happens, this is when our wind starts to ramp up. So by 7 p.m. we're getting 32 mile per hour gusts. Notice now the gusts are getting 40, 45, up to 50 miles per hour by Tuesday. Now something that gusty wind does is it does create some friction, so that may help our temperatures stay flirting with freezing, but by midnight, between midnight and 3 a.m., we see the transition of freezing rain taking place again for areas from Beeville, George West, Freer, Benavides, Hebronville, Alice. Then as we continue on into the morning, widespread freezing rain is anticipated for the morning commute. So this is 7 a.m. Now some locations that may stay just above freezing could be Flower Bluff and the Island and Port Aransas, but it's going to be a close call. Expect the worst, expect slick conditions, expect the chance for ice on the bridges, and that's why we're suggesting if you don't have to travel anywhere, it's best to stay home. I think I did see on Facebook that CCISD has closed schools and offices for tomorrow. They anticipate being back in full service on Wednesday at this point. But we could still have some icy pockets on Wednesday. This is all rain. This is all fairly light rain, but some pockets of heavier rain mixed in there as well. That could bump our ice accumulation up a bit where we see some of that heavier rain, but I also think some sleet is mixing in. And so sleet and even some snow, but it's not going to be a traditional snowflake. What that snow is going to look like is more kind of like a hexagon or a needle like we saw last year, and not so much like the beautiful flake that you envision when you think of snowflake. And additionally, there could be some rhyming or accretion on those snowflakes as they fall through different layers of the atmosphere that are saturated, and so it's going to look messy, and sleet or even grapple going to be more likely the case than necessarily a pretty snowflake. In fact, the pretty snowflake is totally out of the question because we don't have enough moisture in the snow growth region for that typical snowflake you envision when you think of a snowflake. So there we have it. 10 a.m. We're still dealing with some freezing rain through Corpus Christi, Ingleside, Rockport, pending those temperatures. Everyone starts to see clearing skies by 3 p.m. Now, those that see sunshine, that's a good thing. That'll help melt anything that's frozen. Even with these temperatures nearing 40, that should melt anything as well. A problem we have, though, is overnight, look at this, temperatures falling into the 20s because we clear our skies out. Clear skies and we drop the wind, light wind, both create extra cold conditions. So some frost, likely early Tuesday morning, so another morning of scraping cars, windshields that are outside, but additionally some puddles or any roads that didn't completely dry up once the rain ended could see some refreezing. Now that should be more spotty. Not everyone is going to get the refreezing pockets into Tuesday, so travel will be better, but use caution, right? That's the best advice we can give. So we are still anticipating an up to 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation. So if you look at a ruler, that is very small. It is smaller than your phone, but it is still easily going to make for some slick spots out there on the road. So damp surfaces from rain before freezing rain may also freeze out there as Wow. Thank y'all for saying no audio. I apologize for not looking at the comments and thinking that I was good to go. But anyway, oh, wow, y'all. I was talking about sleet. So why I turned off the audio was because we got a report of sleet or ice pellets out of Kingsville. I don't know what got said or what didn't get said when I had the audio off, but it should be working now. So thank you again for that comment. Hopefully you all didn't leave. And if you're watching this replay, I am so sorry for that pause. Should we cover outdoor AC units? I mean, I think it's the pipes that are the bigger issue, but it shouldn't be that cold. Freezing rain will freeze on them. I don't know. That's a good question. I never thought of that living in Ohio or North Texas, Leola, but that's a good question. If you're worried about it, cover it. If you're not, I mean, that's what I always say. It's better to be prepared than scared. So if you're worried that something could happen and you have a way to cover it, it's not going to hurt it probably, especially since we're not using the AC right now. You're going to have to repeat everything. I can't believe that I left the audio on. I don't think it was 17 minutes worth, but it was a while. You're right. The first 10 to 15 minutes had audio. I paused it. I turned the audio off so I could have a conversation with my boss. So that is the reason for that. So I am sorry, Elizabeth. It wasn't the whole 17 minutes, but if you joined late, it was a good chunk of it. So I feel really bad because I want to make this so well and great and helpful. And when I make a mistake like that, I'm doing it all by myself, by the way, getting reports, communicating with y'all, forecasting, making the graphics. We do have a team, so a lot of these graphics, meteorologist Kristen Walla built and made even yesterday. So huge props to being a team effort. Chief Meteorologist Alan Holt built a lot of the graphics as well. So travel at its worst. And a lot of what I'm saying is on the graphics. So if you read the graphics, look at the maps, then you know what's going on as well. So I don't know what I missed, but what I wanted to mostly say was we have gotten reports of some sleet mixing in. We also have had some reports of freezing rain. Surface temperatures for everyone is now back above freezing, so we shouldn't worry about freezing rain except for areas into Duval County. What we are anticipating is the worst travel conditions Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning is when travel will be at its worst. There will be some lingering ice into Wednesday, but that's just because our temperatures are going to fall so cold. Anything that does dry as the rain comes to an end will be fine. There won't be new freezing conditions. It will just be where there's still some pockets or puddles. They could freeze into Wednesday morning. So think black ice. Some bridges could be dealing with that. High pressure to our north. This is why our wind is going to ramp up, y'all. And I think wind, I want to emphasize, wind could potentially cause more power outages tonight than the winter precip. So power outages will be possible because our wind is going to get so gusty. As the coastal low forms and lifts north, it's going to intensify our wind. That pressure gradient between the high to our north and the low over the Gulf of Mexico really intensifies the wind. When it comes to rain, B County, Live Oak County, Northern Jim Wells County, Duval County, all could still kind of be flirting with freezing rain or sleet pretty much all day long at this point, but everyone should be above freezing by 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. We start to fall closer below freezing again as the sun sets. Corpus Christi, I don't think we hit the freezing mark till closer to 3, 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's when our freezing rain chances ramp up. So this is 7 p.m., mostly rain, heavy rain on the island. Then snow for Houston. We could see some snow mixing in. It won't be your traditional snowflake. It will look more kind of like a hexagon if you're able to analyze it, or it will be sleet because it's going to fall through a very saturated layer of air, and therefore water may be condensing onto that hexagon shape, which is known as a plate, and then it will turn more into a ball, kind of like hail. instead of snowflake itself. So mostly a sleet slash snow plate or snow needle could be possible there Tuesday morning. I think it's after 3 a.m. Corpus Christi transitions to freezing rain. We start to see everything moving to the east. So now the hazards by Tuesday at lunchtime are shifting still Houston, but are really starting to get focused across southern Louisiana. We dry out. We likely will see some sunshine, which will help melt any ice, but not a lot. Our temperatures are only going to be in the 30s Tuesday afternoon. And so there is still a chance for some slick spots on the roads Wednesday. There will not be widespread precipitation Wednesday morning, but some slick spots may still be out there, so you should drive with caution on Wednesday. If you want to stay home, Tuesday is the best day to stay home. That is when we will be having the active precipitation. Wind, I mentioned the wind. So we talked about how the pressure gradient between the high and the low intensifies the wind. Our wind picks up tonight. So it's already breezy right now. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty windy right now. But midnight, we're getting gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. That's going to continue through 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Those wind gusts could cause some power outages. We're really cold. On top of that, our wind chills are going to be miserable. So if you do have to go outside, you have to bundle up. You have to protect your skin from these elements, or it will be very dangerous. This strong wind has a gale warning in place for local water. I do not suggest anyone going out on the water today or tomorrow, especially through 6 p.m., because conditions will be rough. It will be hazardous or dangerous, especially for small craft, but even larger craft with these windy conditions. Waves are going to be wild, they're going to be large, they're going to be rough, they're going to be chaotic, and so gale warning is in place. Sea surface temperatures are cold. They're in the 50s and falling, and so it will be brutal. On top of that, the wind chill is going to be brutal as well. So not great fishing conditions. You do not want to run into a problem. Let's talk wind chills. They fall below 25 degrees for feels like temperature by 1 a.m. We're talking teens by 6, 7, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is extremely cold for us. The wind chill alone will be dangerous tomorrow morning if you have to spend more than a minute or so outside. So please bundle up. The best advice, you've got to hide your skin from the wind, because what the wind does is it transports the heat that your body is emitting away from your body, and that makes the air feel cooler than it actually is. And so that's how it works. The more you protect your skin, the less you're going to feel that wind chill. But it is going to be brutal, y'all. So let's talk numbers. Wind chill, 2 a.m., we're down in the 20s. You see the air temperature as well in white, and I have the freezing line highlighted by this white line also. 20s for B County, Live Oak County, Duval County. Wind chill, brutal though. Teens already by 8 a.m. from Corpus Christi, Ingleside, Rockport, Port Aransas even. Feels like it's in the teens. Now let's talk the island. Let's talk the JFK Causeway. JFK Causeway Bridge is the bridge I'm least worried about getting freezing rain on it, but it will be raining. It will be close to freezing. The bridge is elevated, so temperatures may be colder. So if you look at the article that I posted on KIIITV.com, I should have put that picture into our Mac software so I could show it to you. But essentially, we have temperature lines. There's an inversion, which is a warm layer. That's where snow melts and then refreezes as sleet when it enters the cold layer down at the surface, but our temperatures actually do warm up a little bit again at the surface. So with that being said, we're around 30, right? They get a little colder with elevation, which would probably be JFK Causeway height. So it could be closer to freezing up at the top of the bridge versus down at the surface. Then all of the atmosphere starts to warm again, and then it cools again. And so that is because the warm air that was in place over the weekend, Saturday was a really great day, y'all. That warm air has lifted. Just like in your home, heat rises. That warm air is lifted and it's still there. It's just higher up in the atmosphere, so the Arctic air moved in beneath it. And so, yeah, I hope that makes sense. But just explaining, I'm least worried about the JFK Causeway Bridge, but there is still a chance there's icy conditions on it. I'm more worried about areas along Interstate 37, such as near Robstown or Calallen. The Calallen interchanges up that direction where we're crossing over Highway 77. That is going to be a hazardous place. Any overpass through downtown Corpus Christi, the Harbor Bridge, possibly getting some freezing rain on it as well. Those are the bridges and the overpasses I'm more worried about, are the inland locations. Something else to think about. Don't drive on the actual highway of SPID. That has all the bridges going over the surface roads. Stay on the surface roads. If you're going to drive somewhere, stay on the surface roads. Avoid the bridges if you can. If you have to go over a bridge, like you live in Flower Bluff and you have to go over a bridge in order to get to Corpus Christi or the island, same story, use extreme caution. Drive slower. Don't change lanes on the bridge where it could be icy. These tips, keep extra distance between you and the car in front of you so you have room to try to stop if something happens. These are tips that are going to keep you from crashing even if the conditions are not ideal, or even if they are ideal. Then we warm up into the upper 30s Tuesday afternoon, and then we cool down once again. 20s are on the board for Wednesday morning. So still wind chill in the low 20s as well, but the wind will be much lighter. So with light wind and clearing skies Wednesday, that's why it's going to be so cold. This will be a hard freeze. If your pipes are going to freeze, it's going to be Wednesday morning. So Wednesday morning is when pipes need to be protected. This is when freeze could have issues there. Plants, people, pets, pipes, Wednesday. That's the day. Then here's the view outside right now. Some cloudy skies, some drizzle in the area, and even some reports of sleet, mostly south of Corpus Christi and north of Corpus Christi. 41 degrees right now. So we're not worried about freezing rain now, but just a reminder, we are worried about freezing rain overnight. Ice accumulation can lead to travel problems, so drive slow and careful, y'all. I believe that is it that I had to get through. I have the 7-day. I have this. Let's put this up. It kind of gives the Cliff Notes version of everything. And then I'll look through any questions, comments, or concerns while I have this pulled up. Roads on Wednesday, Francis, there's a chance for some pockets of refreeze, but most of it should be dry because TxDOT will be treating the roads. That will help them evaporate or prevent them from freezing. And additionally, we do see, it does look like we get some sun that peeks through late Tuesday before the sun sets, and that will help evaporate some of the conditions or some of the moisture as well. The wind helps with evaporation as well. So it won't be horrible Wednesday morning, but there could definitely be some pockets of icy conditions. Are the bridges going to close? We have a reporter working on that story, so tune in at 5 and 6 p.m., Andriana, and hopefully we won't have an exact answer because that is kind of a game time decision, but they will kind of let you know how that happens and what has to happen in order for the bridges to close. But as of right now, I do not think they've closed. Thank you, Joshua. I know that this is like a lot of information. When I get on this live stream, I just talk and I go on tangents. And so sometimes it's hard to follow, and I'm aware of that. And I try to keep it very organized, like in these little snippets that you see here on the screen. But it's difficult. So again, the worst driving conditions will be Tuesday morning. Maybe like 3 to 4 minutes of no sound. turn your volume up. Glad mine is. Yes, yes. Jobs are difficult. I'm coming into work tomorrow so I can be on the news helping y'all navigate how dangerous conditions are. We're going to have meteorologist Faith Colbert in to help as well. So Meteorologist Faith Colbert will be in, keeping an eye on road conditions, as well as Madeline Salinas, a reporter, will be doing the same and chatting with TxDOT, and additionally our state troopers as well that are out on the roads monitoring conditions. She'll have live updates from them. We'll have live updates in the studio. We'll have the current radar information. We'll have the current temperatures. We'll have everything you need to know right here on First Edition from 5 to 7 a.m. If you feel it's too dangerous to get out, it depends on what your job is, but the best advice is to stay home if you can. However, this is not going to be the worst case scenario, right? It's mostly going to be impacting bridges and overpasses. If we wind up getting a light glaze of sleet or snow that also falls, that could potentially create some extra sliding potential on the side streets. However, let's see if I still have where I looked up soil temperatures. If anyone is worried, there's no sound right now because I am not talking. Okay, that's the West Texas Mesonet. That's not going to help us. There's a Texas Mesonet. There it is. Soil temperature. Trying to remember which farms I looked at for a local area. Well, this is north of us. Garner State Park is 43 right now, and their air temperature has been consistently colder than ours. So that's a good, as long as soil temperatures stay above freezing, most things that hit surface streets are going to melt. However, bridges and overpasses, if you can avoid those while you're headed out early tomorrow, that is going to be your best bet. Oh, Sarita's temperature gauge isn't working. That's sad. Avoiding bridges and overpasses, if you can, will be the safest way to drive. Additionally, keeping extra distance between you and the car ahead of you, and not changing lanes quickly, and definitely not changing lanes on the bridges and overpasses unless you absolutely have to try to avoid something. It's best just to stay as straight as you can and brake as early as you can in order to avoid any hazards on the roads. The slower you go, the better. Yes, please make sure you bring in your pets. Also keep in mind the freezing rain will be something else to keep in mind. Before I go, the wind, very strong out of the north. very strong out of the north. So if you have outdoor pets that are going to stay outdoors, you have to make sure that there's a wall or something that is protecting that north wind. Additionally, it's best to bring them in. That's my best advice. But having a wall that's blocking the north wind is going to be key. That will be helpful for your car's windshield as well. If you park with a building to your north or you face away from the north. So this rain is going to be much heavier on north-facing surfaces than anything else. So that's something else to keep in mind. North-facing surfaces are going to get the most freezing rain accumulation. We are still thinking only around 1/10 of an inch or less. Some higher amounts will be possible, but around 1/10 of an inch or less of freezing rain is anticipated. So one last thing we're gonna leave it on is going to be just your travel update, and then I am going to end this live update. I have blabbered on long enough. Thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate all the serious comments and questions and concerns that are weather related as well. So enjoy your Monday. Enjoy the cold snap as best as you can. Stay safe, everyone. And that's it for me. I'm Meteorologist Carly Smith, logging off from this live update for 3 News.